Hello and welcome to another episode of the Obstacle Race Magazine podcast. We are now on what episode are we on, Kev? A little test for you.
Is this 18?
It is 18.
I was thinking 18 or 19, I can't remember which. The Carl Allsop was the one we put out at the weekend. I can't remember if that was, yeah.
It was, yeah, and if you haven't listened to that one yet, you definitely need to listen into that one. Carl, the director of race operations at Spot and Race, gave us like a really nice insight into him sort of personally and what led up to doing that, sort of taking on that role, and also other bits and pieces like what it entails day to day, where he's been, what he's been able to sort of experience as well.
Smashing bloke.
Yeah, we're really
it's good
nice
insight to like the death race and some of the challenges and sort of the mental state to get through those type of events.
Yeah, I think questioning him about his job himself, it probably, we could have done another hour just on his actual job now, because we did probably 90 minutes of the interview just talking about what he'd done in past and things. So
yeah, he was starting to get evils, wasn't he, I think? So we had to cut it short.
yeah. Blondie were after blood. But anyway, yeah, so obviously it's a strange week. We've not really got that much going on.
It's a strange world.
It is. So we're sat here right now. It's 9 o'clock on the 23rd of March. And obviously we're in the same situation as everyone else, where we've just watched Boris Johnson tell us that we're now on lockdown because plonkers can't stay at home, basically. What do you reckon, Kev?
I've been staying at home.
Yeah, but you like it at home, don't you?
Home bird. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just ridiculous. I've seen some of the pictures over the weekend, especially like at the seaside resorts, and was it Snowdon said that they're their busiest weekend ever for visitors. It's just people just clueless, absolutely clueless.
It is crackers, and I'm Derbyshire based as well, so obviously I'm quite close to some of the places that a lot of the pictures were taken at, like Matlock and places like that. It was just absolutely heaving. And to be fair, it was a really nice weekend. It's probably the best weekend that we've ever had in terms of weather and temperature and stuff for a long, long time. But
have a barbie, then sit out in the garden.
Yeah, true. The thing is, it's Mother's Day, isn't it? It's Mothering Weekend, so it sort of makes it even worse because people don't want to go against the plans. It's just crackers though, because now it's made it so that we've basically had us hands tied in terms of what we can and can't do. And next stage after this is obviously going to be army on street corners and whatever if people still don't behave. Which it's just there's a lot of stupid about in there.
I did see loads of stories over the weekend though where people did resist going to see their mothers, and fair play to every one of you who did that, because I know it was extremely hard, especially when your parents are sort of elderly, and if you don't get to see them a lot as well, to sort of give up your Mother's Day, not physically seeing them, it takes a lot. So well done.
Yeah, I saw a few where they were staring through a window, like the nursing homes and things like that, just to be able to say hello to them, and yeah, craziness. But anyway, so we might as well crack on with a little bit that we have got. First of all, a bit of sort of positive news. Rocket Race have just, because they're not going to be able to put on their next event, they had sort of sponsorship and whatever and companies that they were working with, and they'd already sorted out nutrition for the next event. And what they've done is gone and donated it to people who need it more, which is just cracking. Kerry and David showing people how it's done, aren't they, really?
Yeah, fantastic. This is where you put in the little round of applause soundbite there, Carl. To give Kerry and David a big round of applause.
Yeah, definitely. And it's deserved as well, to be fair, because they could have just left it sat in a storeroom and
kept it for next time.
Exactly. But instead they didn't. They've gone out and they've
Spirit of OCR.
Exactly, made good use out of it. So, but yeah, so that's one. The other little bit was Rat Race have opened up the season passes for 2021 for people who were signed up for 2020. They've actually given them the option to just defer it until next year, just take away the uncertainty, I'm guessing, and just crack on and just push it over to next year and just call it quits on the Rat Race season, in terms of if if they don't want to not know what they're doing later on in the year. So that's quite good of them to open that up. And I suppose I don't know if if that means they're going to be, if they've got any events that are going to be happening now at all in 2020, because it would make, if they did still go ahead with races, then it's going to make numbers really low, isn't it, on the events that they do have.
I think when it's an event company that sort of size, I think they've probably written this year off, and let's consolidate and see what we can do for next year now. It's a lot more difficult for the smaller independents. A lot of them are self-employed again, and with everything that's going on, the bit of money they can get from their events is much needed. So with them getting postponed and called off, it's really going to be felt. So we've just got to make sure once everything's back as normal as it can be, that we really do get out there and support the British independent OCRs.
Yeah, definitely. Because the ones who have postponed their events till later on in the year, or us, obviously, we're hoping and praying with Mud 7 that August will be in a better position by then, and all this action that's being taken will do what it's set out to do, which is flatten the curve of how the virus and whatever is being transmitted, and give the NHS a bit more of an opportunity to actually deal with the cases that they're going to be dealing with or are dealing with now. So let's hope that people are sensible, and so make sure you're still signing up. If there are events towards the end of the year, they're going to need your support more than ever. I know we definitely are hoping that things sort of calm down as quickly as possible. Obviously, it's not the first and foremost thing. Like today, for example, I've been Mr. Wibbly, teacher of reception and year 2. So whoever thought that were going to happen?
The cane has made a comeback. 2020.
It's just crackers though, isn't it? Like, who thought we'd ever be in this position? So it is just such a weird time. But if you have got a bit of money to invest into races, just make sure you do support them, carry on open, and just that positive mindset that it will go ahead. And let's just hope that we can crack on with season at some stage. We expected it to be ramped up by now, so it's really weird because we should have had news coming out of his ears by now, really, Kev, shouldn't we?
Yeah, definitely. Especially April's where it really kicks off, isn't it? So there's loads of events to look forward to, normally in April.
Yeah.
So because we've got nothing much to talk about, I thought I'd put a few questions together for Mr. Wibberley.
Fantastic.
He is the font of all knowledge in OCR, and he's tried and tested everything, been to most events. So I thought I'll ask him a few questions. So he hasn't been prepped; he doesn't know what he's going to be asked. So let's see how he gets on. So the first question was, obviously you get loads of different pieces of footwear sent to you. Which, out of all the different OCR shoes that you've worn at events, which is your favourite, which is your number one that you've actually worn at an event, and why?
So the first ones I really loved were was the old school mud claws. I absolutely love the mud claws. I think they were 300s, and they fitted perfectly, lovely, nice and wide, and the grip is just like amazing. So I love those because I've got quite wide feet as well. So I do like a wider fitting shoe. But then from there, the X-Talon 200s came along, and they soon took over because they're lighter shoe, that made more breathable, a bit wider as well.
Were they the first innovate shoe that was like specifically for OCR? Were they designed?
Exactly. Designed with Jonathan Alban, they were meant to be as well. Unfortunately, they chose a upper fabric that although they'd tested it, they'd maybe not tested it to quite the extent that they needed to, because it caused an absolute nightmare for retailers and stuff, because people were putting the toe through it like far too early, basically. But they swapped it out, put on this much more robust upper fabric for the toe box, but by then the damage had already been done. but they are still now my favourite shoe out of any. I've got like 6 pairs
So
stored up.
you're an Innovate man then, through and through.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. Mainly because IROC's obviously really good, really nice soft compound, cracking shoe. John Alban, obviously, we spotted him wearing a pair in it at Tough Guy one year when he'd just recently moved away from Innovate. No one had a clue what these shoes were because obviously not many of us have much to do with orienteering, and that's what the shoe was designed around. I think it's Finland, wasn't it? Finland that the manufacturer came from. Really tiny operation, and they've only just recently scaled up it all. So that's a good shoe, but my foot's just way too wide for them. It's like a precision fit X Talon for anyone who's unsure about what the IROC fits like. That is what it fits like. So although it's amazingly grippy and it's really lightweight, it's just too skinny for my foot. The only thing I wish Innovate did that they don't do is I really like the IROC's footlock system, where it brings the mid up to your arch of your foot. So as you pull the laces, it actually drags it up, so it grips onto the mid of your foot really well. That's one thing that I wish more shoes would do, or Innovate would bring into theirs a little bit more. But apart from that, yeah, as long as I can still get hold of Innovate X Talons, the 200s, that's what I'm going to keep trying to wear.
Plug.
Well, they've, as far as I know, they only sell them now directly through their own site, and I've not looked for a while because, like I said, I've actually got like a little stock
collection.
Yeah, exactly. Waiting for when I know
season starts up. This is it.
Yeah. Well, I've not really used many, have I? So I've not
wear it once and chuck it away.
Well, yeah, not quite. Maybe though. I'd probably get away with that for the last 2 years. But yeah, they're definitely my favourites, and it's just I find it gutting that they did so much damage to the reputation of that shoe, just purely because that first version of it just weren't quite there. But yeah, that's the very long answer to that question.
Question 2?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Second question's more around obstacles. And which type of obstacle do you find the most difficult yourself to do? And how do you overcome it?
Probably rigs for me, because I've had probably now 2 years where I've been, OCR has been something that I've written more about than I've actually taken part in. And in the last 2 years, rigs, the ones that are real technical rigs that have come over from like Europe and the other like Eastern Europe, and they're just absolutely mental. It's like a Ninja Warrior course, and I have little to no experience in terms of technique of taking on those obstacles. So although I've not had to really do much with them, I know for a fact I'll struggle with them because so much of it's now technique based. It's not just a case of if you've got the grip strength and you've got the like pure grunt, you can get over it. There's now actually technique involved in different bits. Like you get the sliding pegs where you need to slide them across and you've got to shift your weight around and stuff like that. Things like that. Or salmon ladder, that's technique based again. You can't. It's all
about practice.
Exactly. And I like old school OCRs. That's sort of what I fell in love with when Spartan was originally what it was, and just
if you saw a frame, a rig, you'd think, well, is the monkey bars coming up? Well, that was it. It was monkey bars, wasn't it? That was
exactly.
That was it.
It'd be scaffolding poles with some foam round the joints, and that'd be about it. And I'd be quite happy with that. Now, I know so many people absolutely love the technical stuff, but no, it's like it is my kryptonite, and the only way to get past that in terms of techniques and stuff like that, the only solution to it is much of the time is to practice and to get those techniques down. And that's why so many of these training centres like Rumble Fitness and places like that are so well thought of and so well attended, because people know now if they want to be competitive, they have to be able to take those obstacles on, not just to be able to complete them, but also to be able to do them in such a way where they're being, what's the word? Like fast over them, basically. So yeah, that's the answer to that one. They're the ones I dread now. Going out this year, they're the ones I would have been dreading if it, obviously, all this hadn't come about and the state of affairs were in it moment. They'd have been the ones I'd have been dreading. But yeah.
I've always been one with the big walls. I just always hated them because I just haven't got the technique to get over it, and I haven't got the strength to sort of muscle up on them either.
I don't mind the wall. I don't mind the walls. You know, the only ones I probably found tough were the. So it Tough Mudder, the last Tough Mudder I did, they used to do the walls, and I can't remember what they called them, but they're like probably 10, 12-foot walls. You can only just reach the top in the first place on your own by like doing a real big jump. But they do like 3 or 4 one after another, and those were tough. But normal walls, I'm not usually that bothered about. I just crack on and get them
straight up and over.
I wouldn't say it's as pretty as straight up and over. Probably up, a few weird noises, and then eventually over.
Push over.
Yeah, it's difficult though, because obviously this is audio based, so it's kind of hard. But there's so many different little hints and tips that you can share with people to get them over things like that. Walls, easy peasy. Like just by being able to lock your heel. As soon as you get that heel up there, then you're over it basically. Yeah. Sounds
like we should do some tutorials on our YouTube channel.
Maybe
we've got some foam rolling ones on there for anyone who's interested.
And also the podcasts on YouTube as well now, which has been an absolute nightmare because it takes twice as long to render as what it does to record.
Yeah, it just takes forever to upload long videos to YouTube.
And then also you've got to double that because I've got to render it from whatever I've just edited it on in first place. So a 1.5 hour interview, or like Carl's the other day.
Yeah.
That was that.
Please make the pain worthwhile. Please subscribe them.
Exactly.
Listen to it on YouTube.
Yeah. 5.5 hours. 5.5 hours that took to get onto YouTube. Absolutely crackers. But yeah.
Worthwhile.
Yeah. But that's that one. That's definitely rigs. Hate rigs.
I think you asked me this last question. I think you asked me a similar one previously. But with all the events that have sort of come and gone in the past, if you had to put like your ultimate Mud 7 together, and they don't have to be British events, they can be sort of global, overseas OCRs. We don't need big reasons why for each one, but which would be the 7 that you'd choose?
Wow.
Without trying to have your favourites here, you've got to be.
Oh no. You know what? I'm not really I'm not like that. I'm trying to think of unique obstacles they'd be able to bring along. Really, Strong Viking have got some real unique obstacles. So
Strong Viking are in then. Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, 100%. Let's think. Who else would be good? I'd say probably. So many that I love. Oh no, definitely not. What, meat or veg?
Well, there's the Purple Peril wall as well.
Oh yeah, of course. That would be beautiful, but I don't think it'd quite get in 7. Maybe in top 10, meat or veg choice. But apart from that,
I know it's a hard question, and it's only 10 minutes Tuesday.
It is. I think Total Warrior have got some cracking obstacles. Who are the ones? I'm trying to. Is it Rough Runner or Rough Events? I always get them mixed up with the
Rough Runner's got like
Travelator. Travelator. Yeah. Rough Runner for the Travelator, definitely, because that makes an awesome finish line. Yeah. That'd be perfect. I'd love that. And then probably Toughest, because they do. I really like what they do with their obstacles in terms of doing. Right, so unbeknownst to you, we had a little bit of a technical glitch in the middle there. I think Boris has put a stop to this social gathering of 2 because he knows how many people are going to be listening to the podcast. But yeah, so where did I leave it? Toughest, because I like their penalty loops around their obstacles, and they actually do some cracking stuff. You know, like if you
wouldn't have
could
any
move.
penalty loops, though, would you?
Yeah, if people didn't behave themselves, just make them do them anyway. But yeah, they've got some really good obstacles as well. But a lot of theirs is terrain based. That's the only trouble. I absolutely love that ski. The one that they do is at Oslo.
Maze balls, yeah.
Ski slope as your final bit. If you've not seen it before, look it up on YouTube. Toughest finish line.
Is it Norway? Is it?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It is definitely. It's Oslo, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and anyway, that'd be a corker. Obviously, I'd really like to have nuclear there because they've got some cracking stuff, and like having a zip line over the water at Mud 7 as well over the lake would be amazing. So if they could bring zip line along, that'd be just. I don't know how they'd ever do that because it's like a proper concrete into ground structure sort of job, isn't it?
Well, there is a zip line climbing frame at Hart Park, isn't there?
Yeah,
I've never seen it being used. I don't know how safe it would be.
I think it got condemned a long time ago, didn't it?
So we've got nuclear, toughest, rough
runner, total
strong
warrior,
Viking, and
total warrior as well.
So
Yeah.
you've got 2 more.
Oh, this is really hard.
So
what about
Spartan?
Spartan?
Is that what the vicar said to the? No, I can't remember what that was.
Spartan for the spear throw, because that's one of my favourite obstacles, and
Carl's
also
one of your favourite RDs as well. So
for the
you've got to get that in.
Herc. Yeah, Herc hoist as well. Yeah.
Do one of your famous one-handed Herc hoists.
Well, that's only because I'm a fatty, so it's easy for chubsters, isn't it?
What's your record on spear throw as well for the furthest distance away you've stood from it and still got it to stick?
I don't know how far did I stand back when we went to Pippinford Park when we got to play that morning.
Must have been 15, 20 metres, do you reckon?
I don't know, quite far. I find it, you know, when something clicks, you know, like riding a bike or when you first start swimming or anything like that, and the technique just clicks, and they say that you don't forget it. It's a little bit like that with spear throw. I think I must have just got it quite quickly, and then now it's rare. I could probably walk up to it tomorrow and just be able to do it just like that.
Just nailed it.
I don't know why though. I don't know why. I don't know if it's technique or what it is, but I just seem to be really lucky with it.
I did watch some tutorial videos for it, and you're supposed to, on the videos, you're supposed to lay it in your hand, so your hand flat, facing up, and you lay the spear on it, so it's balancing, so you know that you've got the balance there of the spear. It's not going to go up or down. Then you sort of grip it, and it still doesn't work for me.
But it's similar to how I think about it like how you throw a dart. So how you throw a dart with your finger, and you're using your pivot points of your hand and your wrist and stuff.
As well, though, so that shouldn't work. Yeah.
Well, I just basically take that same method but move it down one pivot point. So I'm using my elbow more and my shoulder more instead of using my wrist as much to throw it. That's basically how I think about it anyway. So I need one more, don't I?
Who's getting that last space?
It's tough.
I haven't got all night.
I know. But you've
don't like
put
putting
me
you on the spot. I don't like putting you on the spot. Just think. Just take your time and think. Come on.
I like to be prepped, and you've had my
That's
pants
why it's better
down
not
with
to
this
prep
one, haven't you?
And I know you used to love. I'm not going to put words. But you used to love Airfield Anarchy, didn't you as well?
Yeah, I did. To be fair,
their medals were great.
Well,
the whole weekend. It's your birthday weekend.
It was my birthday weekend. Yeah, that's why I got it. So we got to camp out all weekend, take on 3 racers, and do all that stuff. But I don't think they had anything. It was just a good weekend because there were live music and everything on there as well, and that's what I enjoyed about it. Just the entire weekend, and obviously it being my birthday, especially when Van started. It were even better when Van behaved itself.
Still got some big names there missing out. Tough Guy, Tough Mudder, Rock Solid we had at Mud 7, Suffering.
Tough Mudder would be a good, actually. Tough. It would have to be Tough Mudder because imagine stuff that they could bring along. like King at Swingers.
Into the lake.
Yeah, they could bring some amazing. I don't know how that'd work with nuclear though, swinging into zip lines. But this
half
lake
the
could
lake
be
each.
getting exactly. Well, it'd be getting an awful lot of hammering, wouldn't it? Tough Mudder have just got some really, really good obstacles. Like it always makes me cringe each year when they try and build on it. I don't think they need to add any more than what they've already got. People love what they've got, and the loyalty that they've got are the people who do it time and time again, do it because they love it. If they got bored of obstacles, they wouldn't do it, and they certainly wouldn't try and do like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 laps in a weekend if they got bored of stuff that easily. Yeah, Tough Mudder.
So that's your 7 lineup then. So we've got Tough Mudder, Spartan, Rough Strong Viking. Help me out here.
Toughest. Nuclear, have you already said? Spartan. So Strong Viking, Total Warrior, Rough Runner, Toughest, Nuclear, Spartan, and Tough Mudder. I feel bad for that because that's like who were in the top.
The big boys.
Yeah, and it's not. I think it's just mainly because there's like they've got one single obstacle, most of them, that stands out for me.
Signature obstacles.
Yeah. You could pretty much have a race with just two of each of their obstacles. Because Strong Viking have got like that. You know, have you ever seen it in the what do you call it, Reebok in CrossFit Games, where they get their hammer, the huge mallet or whatever, and like they have to whack a piece of wood along, as if they're chopping a tree, but you're knocking like a weighted thing along. They've got stuff like that, and they've got some like. I've seen them do cutting and wood cutting and things like that in past as well, and it's just such a unique, like, how can you describe it? Like a Scandinavian twist to it.
Yeah. Just need to add a disclaimer that this was sort of Carl's ultimate Mud 7. This isn't the lineup for this year.
We've done it in past, haven't we, in magazine where I've or when I think I did a Radio 2 interview a few years ago, Radio 2, when I spoke to Chris Evans. And
name drop. Clang.
No, but I did though, and it was one morning, and it were like totally off like caught me out of the blue. I think they'd phoned you or Mark up and said, "Oh, who could we speak to?" It had been immediately passed on to me. I was trying to get kids ready for school.
You're the man.
Yeah, but
I do British Pie Week, and you do OCR chat on the radio. Come on.
I was trying to get kids ready for school. I had no time to prep, and then all of a sudden, I'm talking to Chris Evans about blooming OCR. And
it's a hard life, isn't it?
I don't know if it were a sponsored thing by them, because Chris kept going on about Tough Mudder, and then obviously I got drawn into that and about the electric shocks and blah de blah, and then I think within 2 hours of that going, because it were obviously live on Radio 2, it would have been. I'd like 2, 3, 4 RDs being Mardy with me, because why didn't you mention my race? So that's probably what I'll get this week. But to be fair, this is like my personal pick of obstacles. That
everybody gets a mention on the OCR, on the Office Race Magazine podcast,
and
don't
they do as well. Because if anything, more than any others, we try and mention the lesser known ones to sort of get people to actually spread out and talk to people. So and actually take part in events and sort of get the word out there. And yeah, it's. I don't know. We'll have to see tomorrow, won't we? This will be live tomorrow morning, so.
Yeah.
Well,
I hope that filled a bit of time anyway. And,
it has, yeah. Well,
a bit of an insight.
We've still probably done 20 minutes or so anyway, or a 10-minute Tuesday. The trouble is, no one's commuting, so who's good? We just need people to keep on listening to it, don't we?
Yeah. When you're working from home, just stick it on in the background.
Kids will love it. We don't swear. We never swear. That's a guarantee from us. It gets bleeped out because
we can't say if you say shit or anything like that, it just gets bleeped over.
You're such an idiot. You're gonna keep that's an extra 2 minutes you've just added to my editing time just by saying that word.
Sorry,
you're a bad lad.
It was a bleep.
I'm not saying it again.
Okay.
Right.
Thank
anyway,
you, Carl.
Yeah, it's been emotional. Kev, look after yourself in self isolation. And
I will do, and you do as well.
Keep
looking after those boys, teach them well.
I will. Mr. Wibbly will be back tomorrow morning in style. Do you know what though? If anyone can help me with it, I've not been able to find a jacket with those little leather patches on sleeves.
Yeah,
I don't know
some stitching in.
exactly. And what do we do about teachers' training days? Like, when do we have that extra long weekend? Who books those in for us now?
So that'll be after the Easter break. I think it'll be the Tuesday that they should go back. You have that off then as a teacher training.
So I can book that one in, can I?
Yeah.
Just let kids do what they want for a day.
Yeah.
Sorted. Right.
And don't
Lovely
forget
stuff.
the fire drills and things as well you need to do.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure kids will love that. I'll do it in the morning to wake them up.
Okay.
Right, Kev.
Until
it's
next
been
time.
emotional. Yeah. Speak to you soon.
See you later.
Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hello, and welcome to... You're an idiot.
Well, I was going to say, instead of doing that all the time now, I'll just stick on
What's
mute
that?
instead. So I just took my microphone on mute rather than doing that, so it's scared of like
You're an
sniffing.
idiot.
Sorry. Try again.